Good evening, everybody. Welcome back. We have a lot to get into on this August 6, 2020. Make no mistake about it, Barack Obama is the most corrupt president in the history of our country. And with that, I welcome you back to My Political Truth, and my name is Jerry Tomchinsky. Oh boy. So I haven't been on since Tuesday night, and it seems that I literally missed an entire year's worth of news in the cycle to discuss. I have a lot to get into. I'm going to discuss, if you want to call that a discussion, I'm going to talk about Kamala Harris and Susan Rice, being that they are, I guess what they're saying are the final two candidates to be Jim Crow Joe's running mate. So I took it upon myself to make a list that will completely eviscerate their credibility. And I will not stand for the stupidity. I will not stand for the ignorance. I promised you guys on the very first day that I did this that I would always come to you with the facts that the media will not. And you will get facts tonight. And I want to welcome everybody. Sherry, welcome. Whoever else is watching, comment. I want everybody to comment. I want interactions. If you're watching this on a watch party after the fact, comment on that too, because I'm involved in all the watch parties. I play them all, I watch them all, and I make sure to be interactive with everybody there. So that being said, I will jump into Kamala and Susan in a little bit. But I want to get into some other news. Welcome, Sherry, Dad, Irina, Mom. Welcome, everybody. So we're going to get right into it. So the communists, a.k.a. the victimcrats, are living by this entire premise on how terrible the second quarter GDP was. And we see stories on CNN, we see stories on MSDNC, New York Times, the Chicago Tribune, the Washington Times, the Washington Post. I mean, it's never ending. It's never ending that these people have absolutely no shame. They have no sense of self-pride because, you know, if you are a journalist by trade, right, and that's your job and you get paid a decent salary to be a journalist, don't you think it's your freaking responsibility to come out and speak the truth? So they're blaming the coronavirus, they're blaming the economy shrinking because of the coronavirus, and it's all President Trump's fault. Before the election gets here on November 3rd, the victimcrats are going to blame President Trump for starting the HIV epidemic in the 80s. That'll be his fault too. So there are organizations that do try to play it fair, that do try to tell the truth. And here are there are projections that are out now for the third quarter GDP. If you guys don't know what a GDP is, it is the gross domestic product. It is the rate that our economy either rises or shrinks based on the economic performance of the country in that quarter, right? So here are the projections for the third quarter GDP. S&P Global Ratings, they project 22.2% GDP growth. 22.2%. That will shatter the previous record in 1950, which was 16.7% GDP growth. 22.2% is an unheard of number. Wells Fargo comes out and they expect a double-digit jump all the way up to 18.7%. Again, 18.7% would absolutely shatter the record. But nobody's talking about that. Nobody at all is talking about that. All they want to focus on is President Trump did this and President Trump did that, blah, 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 blah. You know, when you play a record long enough, or you play a person's voice long enough, or you play a movie long enough, eventually you stop paying attention to the BS, right? I can't do it anymore. I can't do it anymore. I have to watch CNN and MSDNC and all that garbage in order to keep myself in tune with what both sides are doing. But, right before I came on, I was having a discussion with my old man, and my parents are in town, and we were saying that, and I said to him, I can't watch CNN because literally every story is a lie. And my father comes back to me and says, not every story, every word. And he hit the nail right on the head. Every word is a lie. If I watch CNN and they told me, hey, they were talking directly to me. Hey, Jerry, you're living in Florida, and in your county, it's going to rain today. Unless I see drops, I don't believe them. If they tell me the sky is blue, I don't believe them. They have zero credibility. Again, I think Jeff Zucker should resign and sit in his house for a damn year with the shades closed because he's an embarrassment. His station is an embarrassment. I don't know how they could even call themselves journalists. How can Jim Acosta call himself a journalist? How can Craig Melvin on MSDNC call himself a journalist, accusing Vernon Jones of being paid by the Trump campaign or the Trump team for saying something positive and supporting President Trump? I mean, you Democratic supporters, you people that are going to vote for half-dead Joe, aren't you embarrassed? Aren't you ashamed to even come out and post your support for Joe Biden? Listen, Joe Biden is what Joe Biden is. The man is 78 years old. I don't hold him liable for losing his damn mind. What I do hold him liable for is 50 years of public service and not a single positive accomplishment to show for it. And when he's asked about the fact that he has zero accomplishments, he has the audacity, the gall, the chutzpah to say that it's irrelevant to this. If your past performance, if your resume is irrelevant to you running for the presidency, then what the hell is even relevant? What is relevant? God, hey, did you guys watch that, the Antifa hearings? That's what they called them, I guess. I don't know. The Antifa hearings, another sham on Capitol Hill. Why are taxpayers' dollars being wasted on Antifa / free speech / I don't know what these hearings are about anymore. But it just added to the complete idiocy for the whole world to see of how completely out of tune the Democrats are. Hi, babe. How out of tune, how out of sync, how anti-American. We are getting laughed at in foreign countries. And I say this because I know. Got people in Israel that I speak to. Got people all over Europe that I'm in contact with. People are laughing. I posted a video the other day of a news report from Australia eviscerating Joe Biden. They don't have a dog in this race either way. They don't care whether it's Trump or Biden. They don't care. I'll tell you who does care. China cares. China cares. China absolutely cares. China will do anything in their power to make sure and do whatever they can to get Joe Biden or any Democrat elected, because you Democrats are cowards. Democrats have absolutely no sack to stand up to China or anybody else that's a damn threat, because they're all in bed with these people. I mean, listen, I didn't go to the most prestigious schools. I didn't read the most prestigious books. I live in the world today, right? And I see what happens. And again, I've never came on here and claimed to be the smartest, most educated guy in the world. But I have common sense. And I have what you would call, I don't want to say street smarts because that's just a completely overused term. I have street logic. And street logic is way different than the complete stupidity that we see on Capitol Hill, in the House of Representatives, in the Senate. It's all a farce. They all play a role. The Democrats, the Republicans, I don't care if you're left, moderate, center, progressive, far left, far right, on Mars, it doesn't freaking matter to me. Everybody, when you watch these hearings, the Republicans are fighting for themselves and the Democrats are fighting for themselves. The only problem is the Democrats have zero credibility. Zero credibility at all. So they can't be taken seriously. I mean, come on. Yesterday, for example, we got Sally Yates on the stand, right? So the Democrats, the liberal shills, the victimcrats, whatever you want to call them, they did everything possible to try to, I guess, allow the lies to keep spewing and to perpetuate more lies. And when Lindsey Graham was questioning Sally Yates yesterday, there was actually a Democratic senator that said, well, you need to calm down because she's a woman. What's the difference? Man, woman, white, black, we're all human freaking beings. What does it matter that she's a woman? Listen, I'm going to jump off topic here, and I'm already 12 and a half minutes in, and I didn't even scratch the surface on where I want to go yet. But I want to bring this question up, and I want women, and I want, if I have any black viewers, I want you guys to answer this. Explain to me, and talk to me like I'm a 2-year-old, because I can't understand this for the life of me. Why is it okay? Why do women and black people, and I want my black friends or my black viewers, anybody, to answer this. White people and men, stay out of this. Why is it okay for people or companies or businesses to treat black people differently than white people today? I'm just curious. Listen, perfect example. I went into Sam's Club today, and I walked into Sam's Club, and I was, I guess, daydreaming or thinking about something, and I didn't have my mask on. The two people that walked in front of me were a black couple. No issues. They didn't have a mask on. The lady stopped me and reminded me that I have to put my mask on. And I said to her kindly, I said, you know, the couple in front of me wasn't wearing a mask either. You didn't say anything to them. And she quietly says to me, well, I can't. I left it at that. I'm not going to ask why. Why is it okay with my black friends? I want you guys to tell me this. The females that watch this, I want you to tell me, why is it okay for the Democrats to single you guys out as inferior? Because that's what it is. All men are created equal. Not all white men, not all black men, not all black women. All men and women are created equal except for the biological differences. So why is it okay for people not to go up to a black person, but it's okay to go up to somebody like me? I would think everybody wants to be treated equally. Is that not what is that not what the civil rights movement was all about? Equal rights for black Americans, for minorities, for women. But now we're not treated equally. we're not treated equally at all. And the scales are completely out of balance. And I don't want any of you Democrats that are quietly watching to sit there playing stupid. I want you to be involved. I really want you to be involved. I invite you all. We are all equal. My wife just commented. Absolutely, babe. We are all equal. Men aren't smarter than women. Women aren't smarter than men. In certain cases, they are, but that's neither here nor there. There shouldn't be favoritism. Listen, I was never in support of affirmative action when it started. I don't give a crap if you're E.T. If you are more qualified than the next man to get a job, to get a position, to get a place in a prestigious school, then you get that position. What is so difficult? We get where we are in life based on the merits of our actions. Not based on the color of our skin, not based on how many tattoos we have or don't have, or how many piercings. Based on the merits that we present, based on our resume, based on our capabilities. Come on. You guys are completely, the Democrats are the ones that are starting all of this. They're the ones that are discriminating, but then blaming the conservatives, the Republicans. Why isn't it okay for everybody to be treated equally? Oh, perfect point. Oh my God, my wife, Bianca, thank you for bringing that up. Not everyone gets a damn trophy. Well, today they do, sweetheart. I'm sorry to tell you that. And you know who got a freaking trophy? Every one of these moronic rioters. They are the ones, when the trophies for everybody started 10, 15 years ago, they were kids then. And I said back then, watch, this is the future of our country. They are going to be a crap show. And we have made it to the future. And these are the people that got a trophy for participating. This is what happens when you take away competition. And that is what the communists are going to do, the victimcrats. That's what they're going to do. They're going to take away the spirit of competition in this country and shuffle in socialism and communism. And nobody's going to want to compete to be better than the next man anymore, because what's the freaking difference if the guy painting my house is making the same as the goddamn doctor that went to school for 10 years? Explain to me how that's acceptable. Maybe I'm stupid. Maybe I'm missing something. From the day I was born, and God bless my parents for this, they have always told me, there is no such thing as a free lunch. You get what you work for and what you deserve. And that deserve part, if you deserve nothing, then you get nothing. Understand that? If you deserve a certain punishment, that's the punishment you get. If you deserve a consequence, that's the consequence you get. And contrarily, if you deserve to make $250,000 a year, then that's what you deserve to make, and that's what you should make, if that's what you're worth. My God, where is the spirit of competition in this country? But no, pay for my medical, pay for my school, give me free crap, give me this. What's with the give me? What's with the freaking give me? Whatever happened to, I'm going to go out and earn it. Good God Almighty. Good. Man, listen. Let me jump into this real quick. Showtime. You know, the cable channel Showtime. They are coming out with a movie based on the life of Jim Comey. You know who Jim Comey is, right? Former FBI director who completely and utterly perjured himself on the stand. And this is how loyal the Democratic Party is. Sally Yates hung him out to dry yesterday. My God. She all but confirmed that he perjured himself, that he knew exactly what he was doing. But the only thing is, she covered her own ass and said she didn't know anything about it. I mean, I don't believe that she didn't know that the information was bogus. She said she signed that warrant because she was told everything in that warrant was correct. And the warrant was based on the Steele dossier, which was put together by Christopher Steele, who hated President Trump, who used some secret subsource who he claimed was some high-level person in the Russian government. Meanwhile, he was some lowly Russian guy, same age as me, working in some liberal think tank a block away from the White House. Explain to me how that's credible. So Showtime is making a movie based on Jim Comey's life, and they make Jim Comey the freaking hero in this movie. Showtime. If I were you, I would rethink that movie. I know it's about to drop. If it might have dropped already. But I would pull it because the walls are closing in. The roof is going to fall on top of your head. And if you play this movie, if you stream this movie, if you show this movie, if you have it on your platform, it is going to come back and bite you in the butt. And you're going to deserve it. Anybody that hangs their hat on the Democrat train, you deserve. Remember we talked about deserving? You deserve everything that happens to you. Make no mistake about it. So, let's get into this real quick. I'm already a little over 20 minutes in, and I really want to get into this. So our two final choices, I guess, for Half Dead Joe's running mate is Susan Rice and Kamala, I slept my way to the top, Harris. That's right. Susan, I'm just as guilty as Obama, Rice, and Kamala, I slept my way to the top, Harris. Listen, 15 minutes after Donald Trump was sworn in on January 20th, 2017, Susan Rice was the outgoing national security advisor to Barry, right? She proceeded that same day to write a memo to herself, which she called it a CYA memo. CYA, do you know what that stands for? It is called the Cover Your Ass Memo, which essentially documented the scandal President Trump refers to as Obamagate. So now the now declassified memo details January 5th, 2017 Oval Office meeting, and analysts say implicates, then President Barack Obama and other top officials, including then Vice President Half Dead Joe, and then FBI Director James Comey in targeting of incoming National Security Advisor Michael Flynn. Now, for those of us that have a modicum of common sense, we all know about this. We all know how evil these bastards are, right? Suzanne Rice's lawyer said that she drafted the memo to herself, quote, upon the advice of the White House counsel's office, end quote. The memo was aimed to protect the then National Security Advisor's boss. You know who that was? President Obama. But it's backfiring spectacularly now. 3 years after the fact, it's backfiring. The point of what analysts have called a, quote, bizarre, and bizarre is a heavy, heavy understatement. Bizarre note to herself was to memorialize the meeting with her, Obama, Biden, Comey, and then Deputy Attorney General Sally Yates, the woman who testified yesterday in the freedom of speech hearings, masking, the Comey. I don't even know what to call those hearings anymore because they weren't Antifa hearings. They weren't freedom of speech hearings. They were straight up Spygate, Obamagate, the Democrats are scumbags gate hearings. So the meeting that Suzanne Rice documented reveals that Obama had provided guidance on how law enforcement should address Russian, quote, Russian interference in the 2016 election. There was no Russian interference, at least for President Trump's benefit. And that's been proven. With the waste of time, Russia hoax, impeachment that took 3 years and tens of millions of taxpayer dollars. And you guys want to say that Susan Rice is a good choice? Let me tell you, let me read a post to you guys, right? This was posted by somebody. I'm not going to name names. This is from a Democratic supporter. It says, Susan Rice for our next vice president. Prayer hands. Who's with me? Let's go. Are you friggin' delusional? Have you completely lost the damn plot? I mean, listen. If what I just said to you ain't enough, I made the top 20 best of Suzanne Rice despicable moments. So, let's see. Let me pick a good one here. So, Susan Rice, who is an African-American lady, right? For some reason has some kind of a secret grudge against Africa. She doesn't like Rwanda. She's acted out against Rwanda. So, after leaving the Clinton administration, this is just one of her transgressions, right? After leaving the Clinton administration, Rice became managing director at Intelligence, a strategic analysis firm in D.C. One of her clients was Paul Kagame, the president of Rwanda. Nearly 20 years after the Rwandan genocide, Rice would again be in an official position shaping U.S. policy on Africa and again face criticism she had softened the U.S. response to mass killings in the Democratic Republic of Congo and Kagame's support of violent rebel forces. Specifically, these critics, who include officials of human rights organizations and the United Nations, diplomats, say the administration has not put enough pressure on Rwanda's president, Paul Kagame, to end his support for the rebel movement whose recent capture of the strategic city of Goma in Congo set off national crisis in a country that has already lost more than 3 million people in more than a decade of fighting. Let me give you a layman's terms translation of that. Susan Rice, the Obama crime family administration, never did anything that was for the benefit of the American citizens. It was always for private, personal benefit. Make no mistake about that. Make no mistake about that. Susan Rice did anything in her power to co-sign and to cover for Barry and for that administration. And you want to know why she did that? Because she was just as friggin' complicit as he was. Let's pick something else out. In 2003, Susan Rice told the New York Times that former Ambassador Joseph Wilson, a registered Democrat who was publicly supporting John Kerry's presidential bid, played it down the middle of the road politically. Quote, a few days later, Wilson declared his desire to see Karl Rove, quote, frog marched out of the White House in handcuffs. In 98, Susan Rice became one of the Clinton administration's preeminent defenders of the airstrike against the Al-Shifa pharmaceutical company, if you guys remember that, the factory in Sudan. The U.S. Navy launched 13 Tomahawk cruise missiles early in the evening of August 20th, 1998, destroying the factory. By 2005, officials had concluded that there was no proof that the plant had been manufacturing or storing nerve gas. But nobody talks about that either. Do you remember when George W. Bush went into Iraq? Listen, I think that whole Iraq thing was a damn disaster. He should never have done that. But when he said that there was going to be weapons of mass destruction and there weren't, he got killed. Killed. But when this happened, nobody said a damn thing to Obama or the administration. Let's move on real quick to... I got so much more to talk about with Susan Rice, but I'm 30 minutes in. Let's get into Kamala Harris real quick. So, Kamala Harris was... she spoke to somebody on record, and she said that she was unaware. She had this top aide, I guess her chief of staff at the time. And he was accused of sexual harassment. And this all became public during when the whole Me Too movement started. And we all know when it ended, right? With Tara Reid, when she accused Joe Biden of sexual harassment. But because it was Joe Biden, it didn't matter. As Nancy Pelosi said, that's, quote, just Joe being Joe. That's what she said. That's how she said it, too. So, she said that she was unaware of the sexual harassment allegations against her top aide during her time as California's Attorney General. But the agency that she oversaw, California's Department of Justice, was informed about the complaint 3 months before she exited in early 2017. Larry Wallace, who was a longtime aide who went to Washington with Kamala Harris, resigned after the newspaper asked about the 2017 settlement with Danielle Hartley, a woman who made the accusations. Harris's Senate office said the senator had no knowledge of the alleged harassment, but some expressed skepticism that Harris had no idea of the harassment caused by Wallace. The GOP chairwoman, Ronna McDaniel, wrote in a tweet that the senator was either lying or grossly incompetent. Listen, if somebody is lying or they're incompetent, both of that is reason to get rid of that person. If you're lying, then you're a liar, and that's it. You can't be trusted. But if you're incompetent, I think that might be worse than being a liar. Incompetent means you're just too stupid to handle the job. So, which one is it? No one is buying Kamala Harris's claim that she didn't know that her top aide of 14 years was accused of sexual harassment, resulting in about a $500,000 under-the-table settlement. These are just some of the transgressions. Listen, Kamala Harris, look up her connection to downtown Willie Brown. Willie Brown was a mayor of San Francisco back in the day, and Kamala Harris started with him, and she literally slept her way to the top. I mean, listen, everybody wants to be so concerned with the Me Too movement and sexual harassment. Wasn't it President Obama, again, the victimcrats poster boy, that said, when he announced her one day, he said, Kamala Harris, the best looking attorney general in the history of the country. He said that. Literally. If that's not super unprofessional and super unpolitical, but nobody called. Can you imagine if Donald Trump referred to one of the people that working in his administration as the best looking whatever ever? My God. We're going to end this with a quote, and this quote comes from one of my favorite comedians of all time and one of the smartest men to ever pick up a microphone, George Carlin. May he rest in peace. He says, and I quote, and I want you to listen to this quote very carefully. Political correctness is America's newest form of intolerance, and it is especially pernicious because it comes disguised as tolerance. It presents itself as fairness, yet attempts to restrict and control people's language with strict codes and rigid rules. I'm not sure that's the way to fight discrimination. I'm not sure silencing people or forcing them to alter their speech is the best method for solving problems that go much deeper than speech. I thank you guys. Join me again. My new time, 7:30. I will be on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. 7:30 every evening. And of course, I'm going to give you guys pop-up lives here and there whenever there's important news coming out or whatever. Join me tomorrow. I'm going to give you my theory on what happened in Beirut yesterday. We've seen a lot of videos, and I'm going to dissect that for you guys tomorrow evening. So let's get into that. And I'm going to jump back into Susan Rice and Kamala Harris, and I'm going to keep giving you a list of their transgressions until this imbecile picks which one is going to be his running mate and essentially the candidate for president of the United States. Because we all know it ain't going to be Weekend at Joe's over here. My man Joe looks like he died 4 weeks ago but forgot to lay down. But I digress. On that note, have a great night, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday, and I will see you tomorrow evening. Love you guys.